Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And we have a bit of common sense from Mr. Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's Elon Musk. Elon Musk. But he was christened Elon because it doesn't seem, I don't know any Saint Elons, but I think he's a pro-life, and he could be a Catholic, or else he's, I don't know what he is, but he's definitely pro-life and has a great deal of common sense. He's reputed to be the second richest man in the world, and so he has clout. He's taken over Twitter, which he saw that it had an agenda, and so it'll improve under his stewardship. But he's a very talented individual, and he's commented about this Green Party that we're saddled with in this country, inflicting restrictions on farmers about cows, and to reduce the herd by 10%. Now, it's so nuts and so off the wall that it's just bear thinking about. The Irish Farmers Association is against it, and the farmers. So this government seems to be anti-Irish in many respects, and putting costs on people. So this Elon Musk commented about that cows don't interfere with the climate whatsoever. The people that yap about climate, they're in a small majority in the scientific world, but there's money to be made from the people that's involved in it, and truth to be strange to them, they wouldn't know anything about it, and they're hoodwinking people. There was a great article about climate hysteria in the Totus Tuus magazine, which is the total truth and total yours.
Just hold up the front of the cover there, John, for a second. I just want to, so people can see it.
Totus Tuus, and it's
just we can't see that. Hold it. Yeah, there. Yeah, we can see that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Where did you get that?
Well, it comes to me because I give them a donation every month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but it's a good article here. Climate hysteria, peddling bad science and sensitive economics, and this I won't read it all. But every catastrophe gives birth to a vast industry of fixes that eventually spiral out of control. It continues only for as long as society can be convinced that the problem is worsening and still needs to be addressed. This is especially true for the climate change crisis. A massive multi-billion-dollar industry, now we mentioned dollar, industrial complex has sprung up that is reaching gargantuan proportions. Currently around $600 billion is being spent annually on environmental projects aimed at, inverted commas, saving the earth. And if all countries commit to adopting, inverted commas, zero carbon emissions by 2035, that figure will rise to $10 to $20 trillion annually. One environmentalist, Born Lomberg, who challenged this crazy consensus, reacts angrily at this unnecessary spending, claiming that, inverted commas, Paris Climate Agreement is the most expensive treaty ever made in the history of the world, and a terrible investment in the human future, destined to return only 11 cents on every dollar. For Lombard, it is based on bad science and senseless economics. There's a great article in this about it, but the upshot is that this green lobby is just senseless, and it's peddling bad science and senseless economics. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I suppose, look, I come from a farming background. We've done a video on the Common Agricultural Policy, the CAP 1, CAP 2, CAP 3, okay?
Yes.
And we can see the damage that the European Union promoted in the 1980s, starting in the late 70s, okay?
That's right.
And they destroyed all the wells in Ireland. See, the wells that I used to drink out of as a child. I could put a cup into the well on the way to school in Kerry, okay? And I could drink the water.
We all did that.
We all did that, okay? But by the early 1980s, it had all changed because the European Union said, listen, drain your land, okay, use fertilizers, get rid of your ditches, get rid of your hedgerows. And this was complete madness.
Madness, of course it was.
Okay.
Madness.
So instead of talking about cows farting and etc. And the air, what they should need to be focusing on is what's going into the ground. Okay, so if you use 10-10-20 the fertilizers, I'm not sure if they use them anymore, but they use a whole range of fertilizers.
Oh, they do, of course, to
okay.
make the grass grow quicker.
Yeah, so you need, probably one thing would be slow releasing fertilizers, okay? And then you need to look at the drainage of the land, how it's to change the drainage system of the land so that it's not all going into the rivers, okay?
But they've done the damage, and to try and fix it now, it'd probably be a pretty costly thing. But
it'll be very costly.
The worst thing that ever happened was the business of slurry. Up to that, it was manure, and which was very good for everybody that had their own vegetables in their garden. We had it ourselves because it was encouraged to produce your own, especially during the last World War, and people continued to do it. And people often had these plots. We saw one there where we were doing a video on all the people with the plots growing their own vegetables, and which is a great thing. And they have it in Kells too in ours, and they're planting vegetables and all the rest of it. So people will do that with encouragement. And we had plenty of that years back until the policies of the government made it impossible for family businesses to continue in trade the way they did. We've done videos about that, and challenged the business of the monopoly situation in the grocery trade, that they should be reduced to 10% of the trade, and so as to give family businesses and competition a proper chance. So we spoke about that, and about this question of the business of interfering this Green Party. It's hysteria, peddling bad science and sensible economics. That's end of story. The facts are there, and many scientists and many people with something between their ears up here decry this senseless cost to the environment, to people. Don't forget, they already stopped the production of our Bornemona peat briquettes, which were widely used, and they were important. So they're contributing to the balance of payments. But important stuff that we should never be important.
Absolutely.
So this is part of the EU stupidity, and anybody that had a government that knew had something between their ears and had a good of the country, they would have done nothing as extreme as what the EU was asking. They should have taken what they call a resistance to it, that it would affect the economic well-being of many families, which it did. And the fishing, that's a disgrace to give away their fishing rights, and fishing industry has complained bitterly about it up from Killybegs and all around the country, that their livelihoods have been threatened by their senseless, useless policy. So we've been saddled with about the most stupid governments that you could imagine. Not the good of the people, and this is what they can say one thing, but the reality is not so good.
The thing is Eamon Ryan, is he a countryman or is he from Dublin? Is he a city man?
He's a city man.
Well, that makes sense, because the policies and the way they're talking about farming, it's like as if they have no understanding of farming at all.
Correct, and I admire farmers, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be alive, because they produce stuff that we need and to sustain in the body from the point of view of food. So they do a marvellous job. But then they're trying to dissuade the business of eating meat. I mean, you have to have a balanced diet. You can't be eating vegetables and salads all the days of your life. You know, the vegetarians, what they're after, I mean, they give you the sick. And you'd hate to have them coming near the house because you couldn't bring them anywhere.
I seen a study recently, and they were talking about farmers. Farmers are using so many chemicals now that they this goes back to the European Union again. They're using so many chemicals now that they're getting neurodegenerative diseases. They're getting Parkinson's and a whole lot of other...
Correct and right.
Because of their weed killers and their pesticides.
That's right.
And they're not wearing masks. And they're...
Yeah, so there's all that happening, and funny enough, there's cousin of mine, or his husband, has that Parkinson's this years, and I don't know how he's still alive, because it's a degenerate sort of a thing, and I don't know what's keeping him alive. But he has that, and many another one has it, and often then Alzheimer's is affecting people of a younger age because of all these things. I mean, if they're spreading slowly on land, and cattle is eating, and all these chemicals, so you don't know what you're eating.
This is
but then hopefully these things are treated. But in any event, this is something that we can see that it's this green nonsense is bad economics, and it's people need to focus on that. And I think the media are not giving it the attention it deserves and criticising it. And we could certainly criticise the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil for allowing the Greens to do such stuff just because they want power.
Now you're talking.
They're not exercising it.
So we're in agreement with Elon anyway, and it's a bit of common sense. It's nice to hear a bit of common sense.
We admire him. He's a force for good in the world. He has seen the light.
Now you're talking. Okay, thanks, John.
Thanks, Oliver.